All right, guys, let's talk about this SEC basketball tournament. So, Gators are basically, I think they're a 9 seed. They're going to be playing number 8 seed Texas A&M in the first game. They lost to A&M 56-55, 1 point loss. They could easily win this game. They could easily lose it. It's basically a 50-50 game. Personally, the way Florida's played this year, I could very much see them losing this game and being out, 100% out. You lose this game, you're done. 19-13 is not getting you in the tournament. Mike White's got to go regardless. I don't care if we make the tournament or not. He's really seemed to lose favor with a lot of the national media. A lot of those guys were still kind of big Mike White fans. Even some of your local Gator, publishers, guys writing about the Gators, still kind of liked Mike White. He's got that personality. Everybody loves to listen to the guy. I mean, he's a good man. He's just not a good basketball coach. You know what I'm saying? He's representing the university good. But he's had his time. He's been there almost a decade now. He's had plenty of time to get the job done. We haven't even been competitive, guys. I mean, it's time to move on. I would even be fine with just anybody, literally, at this point. It's not like a home run hire has to be made. I think just a change of face and somebody with a different offense, different, game theory, something a little more modern, up tempo. But we got to find a new coach, and I think it'll happen. Especially if he makes the tournament. Unfortunately, I could see Strickland holding on to this guy another year, because really in college basketball, that's what it all boils down to is just making that tournament. Even if you get bounced, most teams, especially somewhere like Florida, where we're on that borderline of a blue blood school, in my opinion, and there's probably some bias here. We are a blue blood. A couple national titles. Basketball's been at the top before and been very competitive under Billy Donovan and even Mike White in the first year or two. So I think we win this game against A&M. We got Auburn in the second game, who's a top-rated seed. That's another quad one win. A&M would be a solid win. Auburn's another great win. We already beat Auburn once this year, so we know we can do it. You beat A&M and Auburn, we're probably getting in the tournament. Like I said that in the last video I made. Got to win a few games in the tournament. When I say a few, we've got to win two back-to-back games and get to the semifinal. If we lose in the semifinal, I still think we get in the tournament after beating two solid teams. But again, I don't see Florida beating Auburn twice. And even if they do win the first one, I don't see them winning the second one. So it looks like we're NIT bound, in my opinion. And again, so that's basketball for me. That's kind of sums everything up this year. Flindarius or something, whatever, Fleming, I can't even say his name. He's the reason he fouled a 3-point shooter in that Auburn game. So that's why we lost that one. Guys just making dumb plays. Tyree Appleby, man, gotta love him. He's like rolling a die. I mean, he basically can ball out, or he looks like a lunatic running down the court 100 miles an hour out of control. I mean, he'll just dribble the ball right out of his hand. It goes out of bounds, and it's just the craziest thing to see. I mean, he just gets belligerent sometimes, and these guys at the last minute, it's like they choke, basically. They don't play well under pressure. And that's the biggest thing I've noticed. They can't close games out. There's easily 3 1-point losses, 1 or 2 point losses that we could have swung our way, and we're over 20 wins already. But that's just always been a Mike White thing. He never closes games out. He doesn't know how to make last minute play calls at the end of game. You see a lot of heaves, just desperation, throwing shots up at the end of a game instead of actually designing a play. So it's time to cut bait and move on, guys. But on to the next segment. So we had a bunch of visits this weekend, right? All right, so Eugene Wilson the third was on campus, wide receiver, 4-star, 9.0 rating at 247. Predicted to the Gators. I think that's going to be one of your first commitments. He should pop pretty soon, next couple weeks. Heard some rumors he's doing a commitment video. Another kid was Trayon Webb, running back, 4-star, 9.5, 247. I'd love to have this kid. I think he's a home run. I think he's going to be that, blue blood, blue chip, I'm sorry, running back in the class. Guy's a beast, really athletic, can do it all. Very shifty. I think he's not the primary target, though. I've heard it's Baxter and Young, which are both highly rated guys, even more so than him. But they're keeping him warm as well, and I think they'll take his commitment if he's ready. I've heard it's just a matter of time for him. So I think Young is pretty much out of the picture. I've heard he's not realistic for us to land. But I've heard Baxter is 100% on the Gators' radar. So I could see Baxter being our 5-star back. Um, I thought, or he might be borderline 4-star. So him and Trayon Webb are going to be our running backs, I do believe. There's some other guys on campus. A lot of positive things about the Gators. Jordan Hall, defensive lineman. A lot of really good prospects. Like I said, had a lot of positive things about the Gators. No commitments yet. Again, I've said it already a couple times. I do think you see one or two pop before the end of this month. Um, I did see some crystal balls for a couple other guys that were like 8.9, 9.0, 4-star guys, kind of your lower end 4-star ranking. That's fine. I don't mind filling up middle of the class with those type of players. It looks like we're focusing hard. Again, running back's a priority for this offense. It's a running oriented offense. It's going to be about a 60% run, 40% pass. Again, I don't think he's going to be so stubborn that he just runs it when that's not our strength, which I don't think it's going to be next year. The offensive line's still a huge liability for this team. I do think they're going to be better next year than they've been the last few years, but the depth there is very questionable. I've read that in a lot of articles. 247 talks about it. The depth's really thin on the offensive line. There's no proven depth right now. But that's this whole team. The whole team's not proven. I mean, none of these guys got experience because of the way Mullen and Grantham, ran this organization by playing seniority over talent. So I think we're going to be in it for a big surprise in a positive way. I do think we're scary thin at a few positions, but again, I think we're going to be a run-oriented team. I think we're going to have to get creative in the run game with our zone schemes. We're a zone blocking team, a zone run team. We're going to have to get on the edges, I believe, and we have the speed and shiftiness to do it. We've got some really good blocking wide receivers out there. A lot of big guys, Jaquavion Frazier's, so just a lot of big dudes out there on the outside, and they can block. These running backs are going to get to the edge. DeMarcus Bowman, he's a slasher, really speedy guy. Watched him in the spring game take a sweep right up the sideline. And, I mean, I don't care if that was second, third, fourth, fifth, 20th team. I mean, you put first teamers in there, he would have shredded any of them. I mean, you got to think a lot of these guys, even on second, third team, they might not be the best, talent wise, but a lot of them speed wise are still comparative to your first team guys. Most of these guys in college, including walk ons, at that point, those athletes are all running, 4.4 to 4.7s. When I was in high school, I played and I ran, about a low 4.8. So you got to think these guys that are walking on are incredible athletes. And again, I know he did it against walk-ons, but the kid, he's a game changer. I think we're going to see him break out and rush for 700, 800 yards this year. I do believe Lorenzo Lingard. I believe he'll get the opportunity, but I don't think he'll prove it. I think the kid's got some issues as far as in the mental game. Not that there's anything wrong with him or anything like that. I don't know. There's just something there. He's complained a lot. Again, it might be justified because of what I said. So I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping the kid's electric, gets the ball. To me, he looks like a good downhill runner. He kind of stands up tall, but if he can lower his shoulder pads in the pocket, behind those linemen, I really think he could be a bruiser and be one of those guys because he's a big guy, very stout, very solid. I think if he has very good straight line speed. I've heard he's not as shifty, but straight up and down. I mean, he could be a good gunner on special teams, kind of like Tyree Cleveland used to do. He was a stud at that. But those kind of guys, I mean, you see the speed that Cleveland had. I think Lingard has that type of speed. So he could be somebody that you give those outside pitches to and just let him cut north and south, just get upfield. But yeah, I do think the running game is going to be very strong. So recruiting is going really well, guys. I'm going to be down there this weekend. I'm going to take a look, take a bunch of pictures, do some video. Basically, I'm hoping I can catch somebody down there and ask them a couple questions. Heck, nowadays you can pay these kids to basically talk to you on Twitter and Instagram and all this stuff. So if I got to wave $100 bill at them to get them to come over and answer a few questions and make a video, that'd be sweet. I know that that would do really well, and then get some video of the facilities for people on here. You don't really get much of that. I've watched a lot of other videos out there, even the big national videos like Gators Breakdown. I'm a penny to hundreds of dollars compared to that. But again, that's my goal. So I want to try to get creative and get some stuff on there. I'm going on vacation with the family down there, and we're going to make a stop on the way. My kids are diehard Gators like the rest of us, so they'll love it. But anyways, hope everybody had a good weekend. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try to keep getting better at this each time I do it. Thank you guys, and I appreciate your time.